Hi guys, it's Jem here from Fundamental Sports and Fitness. I'm just going to go through a bit of what rotator cuff injuries are and how that can then lead to shoulder pain and shoulder problems. So you might think that shoulder work as a runner might be lower down on your priority. You might be thinking legs need a bit more strength work putting into them, but your shoulders are just as important. Particularly when it comes to obstacle races, it's kind of a given that your shoulders and your upper body strength is going to be needed, particularly if you're thinking about pull-ups and monkey bars and any rig work that you might be doing. But link it back into your running form. You're going to be using that arm movement through your normal natural swing. So again, that positioning that you're going to be in is going to be really important. So your shoulder joint's a ball and socket joint. And as a joint itself, it's quite an unstable one, purely because of how the ball element sits into the socket. Okay, it's quite shallow, but that allows your arm to do so much movement. You're thinking you've got all the reaching above your head, taking it back behind, and those full circles in and out. Okay, so there's quite a good range of movement through your shoulder joint, but because of that, it leads to those moments of instability. Now, your rotator cuff muscles are there to help stabilise your shoulder joint, and the four muscles that make them up, I've got a nice little picture for you. If we look here, so you've got your infraspinatus that sits across the back of your shoulder blade. Okay, we've got your supraspinatus that sits across the top, so there and just there. Your subscapularis that sits behind your shoulder blade, and then your teres minor here. Okay, so they're the four muscles that make up your rotator cuff, and they're the ones that are important, within stabilising that joint. But if they get injured, so that can be sort of through any inflammation, a tear, or say that repetitive use, even just a strain, there can be a real problem to try and recover from. So the pain that you might feel could be anything from sort of a mild sort of dull ache to then a severe sharp stabbing pain. And there's never sort of a guide to say the pain level for the severity of the injury for these ones. So it can then affect your running performance. You might find it harder to do any overhead work, and you might find it pinching. You'll maybe lose some strength within your shoulder. Bad posture can be one cause of it, or that rounding of your shoulders, so any desk-based work that you might be doing, or the repetitive movements. So they're the things to think about, that if you think you might have a rotator cuff problem, is looking back at what's your posture like. Have you been doing a lot of the same type of exercises? And what sort of pain are you in? So can you still lift your arm above your head? Can you do your bra straps up? Have you been doing, are you getting pain doing strength work? So think about those, and those could be signs that you might have some rotator cuff damage. The repetitive side of the injuries come in if they've got then inflammation within the tendons, or that's then rubbing against the bursa that was within your shoulder. And again, anything on there can cause slight issues. As we mentioned, you can get the tears within the muscles as well. So from an exercise point of view, you really need to be looking at strengthening your shoulders and putting an element of that within your normal training routine. So a few exercises I like to do are the internal and external rotations. So you're having your arms bent, if we're here, at the 90 degrees, so you've got a resistance band in, and you're moving your arm in and out. Okay, and depending on where you put that element of resistance will make it either an external rotation to strengthen or an internal rotation to strengthen. Okay, you've got effectively exercise where you could lay on your side and just lift your arm out and back in. Make it a little bit harder by adding in that dumbbell, but yeah, laying on your side gives you that element of control with it. Think about adding in high and low rows. So if you've got a resistance band putting up here, okay, you're holding on tight and you're pulling in and down. Okay, and again, that's looking at strengthening your back, but also getting your shoulder working in that controlled manner. Another couple of good ones, if you're looking at shoulder strengthening rather than just specific rotator cuff muscle exercises, you'd be then looking at your upright rows, so holding your weight in front of you and pulling up, trying to keep your elbows and shoulders level as you're bringing it up, or even then taking it into reverse flies as quite good strengthening exercises. So those are some things that you can think about for strengthening, but also don't leave out that element of training, okay? Your shoulders are just as important when you're thinking about your running form and your running strength as any other element of your exercise program as well. So if you've got any questions, guys, let me know and I'll get back to you.